I read King Sorrow. I want to talk about it. So, King Sorrow is Joe Hill's first book in like 10 years, and I really liked some of his prior work, and I was very excited for this to come out. I was really looking forward to it. It's a story about six college friends who one of them gets into a bit of a bind. So they do this ritual and end up summoning this dragon from another dimension or something, King Sorrow. And then this story follows them over sort of a few decades of their lives as they're, they grow as people and characters, and the damage that having summoned this dragon into their lives brings. And unfortunately, I didn't like it nearly as much as I was hoping I would. There were a lot of misses here for me. It's a very chunky book. It's like 850 pages. I think a lot of that could have been trimmed out. I think getting this down to 650 probably would have made it better. But there were a lot of character choices that, just for me personally, really didn't hit. I'm a big horror reader. I like horror stuff. This is more of like, it felt to me more like dark fantasy, like not really much horror at all. For some people, I'm sure some of this stuff is going to be horror-esque, but I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad I read it. It wasn't terrible, but for such a long wait and such like a giant book, it just, I don't know. It was a bit disappointing. I'd probably give it like 3 out of 5 stars, maybe. Definitely not his best work, in my opinion. I was a big fan of Heart-Shaped Box. I was a huge fan of Horns. I absolutely love Nosferatu. I'm actually planning to reread that this coming December, just because it's a Christmas book for me. I'll probably reread that and reread The Shining. But yeah, if you're interested in checking it out, I would say it's worth reading. Just go into it with tempered expectations. And that's as much as I know to say about this book without getting into spoiler territory. So here's your warning. I'm going to discuss major plot points and spoil all of it. So if you want to read this and you haven't read it yet, go away and read it and come back later. So without further ado, spoiler, total spoilers. So if you read it and you want to hear my thoughts, stick around. If not, go away, come back later. So as the story unfolds, for anyone who read it, Arthur and Gwen have like this love thing, and she tries to make a bargain with King Sorrow and loses, so she can't be with Arthur. Well, that's unfortunate. I feel like it was tainted anyway because he slept with Tana. Like if that wouldn't have happened, the impact of Gwen's poor decision with King Sorrow would have been so much more impactful. But because he already started driving that wedge in anyway, I was just kind of like, well, it probably wasn't going to go anywhere anyway. He already kind of soiled it. So, him having slept with Tana was, I think, a terrible decision. The whole premise that a couple of young towny drug dealers are gonna want him to steal like priceless books for that. How the fuck would they even know what books would have the value that they're looking for? Like, just on its surface, like the whole premise kind of didn't make sense to me. But I let that slide. I was like, whatever, suspension of disbelief. I'm just gonna roll with it because I was enjoying like the first half of the book. Arthur's mom being in jail, they made this, he talked that up a lot, how she was so remorseful, and everyone's like, oh, it's her fault, somebody died. And then you find out what happened. She was there peacefully just to, paint on a sub or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But the cop is the one that shot and ended up killing himself because the bullet ricocheted. She didn't kill him at all. Like, what was all that repentance for? What was the buildup for? I don't understand. So that just was a big disappointment to me. Tana's mom, when she got out of jail, like she was just fantasizing and fantasizing and fantasizing about killing him. When she finally showed up, it was over in like a page. Again, a lot of buildup that just kind of went nowhere. Arthur went overseas and he was a bookworm, and he went over and like studied dragons and studied myths and studied this and studied that because he was going to figure out how to defeat the dragon. They didn't use any of it. None of the knowledge he went over there to gain was put to any kind of use. I feel like once he went overseas, his character was just kind of done. And then after all the time he spent looking for that sword, for Colin just to find it because of an algorithm, and to have him go out in that troll cave, that was just so disappointing. And I can get like this sort of spin on like Arthur and Gwen and pulling the sword from the stone and Arthur's the sword. Like that's a cool idea in theory, but for me the execution was just terrible. I don't know, man. I liked this. I really liked the first half. I was disappointed in the second half. But then the more I sort of thought about it after I had read it, the more it just sort of has been grating on me that so much, like so many of the character choices in here just seemed like big misses for me. I don't know. Maybe you'll enjoy it more than I did. Again, I didn't hate it. There was just so much that I was like, really? Why this? Why this? Why would you do this? Like, what did this accomplish? And I just think I feel like there was a much better story to be told in here than what we got. So yeah, those are my thoughts on King Sorrow. If you read it, let me know what you thought, because this, after some of his other books, like I'm kind of surprised this is what came out. But you know, a lot of people are raving about it. A lot of people seem to love it way more than I did. The writing is still good. You know, he's a fantastic writer. So I mean, it's still mostly entertaining to read, even when things get on your nerves. And maybe some of those decisions were supposed to get on your nerves. I don't know. It just wasn't what I was looking for. They didn't feel like twists. It didn't feel shocking. It just felt like disappointment and poor decisions to me. So yeah, King Sorrow by Joe Hill. Did you read it? What'd you think? Let me know. I'll catch you next time.